ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you one of my favorite actors, voiceover actors. He's my favorite Chris Redfield voice, obviously on one of the best Resident Evils, which is this one right here. So here's with us the one and only Joe Whyte. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Buenos dias. That was a very interesting process. I got that part because my wife was working at a company called Sound Deluxe. Sound Deluxe is where they recorded all the voiceover for the original Resident Evil game. Not the original, not the first one, but the remake. They did all the dialogue at Sound Deluxe, which was a company in Hollywood. It's no longer there, which is a shame. It was a great little company, but it was bought out by a guy from Texas who didn't know how to run a voiceover company, and they killed the company, so it's not there anymore. But my wife was working there at the time, and I went in one day to have lunch with her, and the casting person from Resident Evil was there, and they were looking for a sound-alike. They wanted to re-record the voice of the original Chris Redfield.
Yeah.
And for some reason they couldn't get out. I'm not putting him down. I'm not saying that he was bad, but they wanted to improve the voiceover from the first game. Mm-hmm. So they were looking for someone to redo the original dialogue. And they said, Joe, you do pretty good voiceover. Can you match the voice of the first guy? So I went in the booth and I did a pretty good job of matching it. And they said, okay, would you like this part? Would you like the part on this video game? And I said, sure, what's it called? They said Resident Evil. You know, at the time, of course, Resident Evil was not a big deal.
Yeah.
Because it was only the first game. Only the first game had been made.
Yeah.
There wasn't a big community. There weren't a lot of people who were into it. And I'd never heard of it. I was like, sure, okay, I'll do the part. Not knowing that it would become this big, Resident Evil, become what it is today, major video game franchise. So I did the part, and I think we recorded over, I think it was 4 or 5 voiceover sessions. Now, if you're doing a union voiceover, like through Screen Actors Guild, if you're doing a regular part, those sessions are limited to 4 hours. You can only do a 4-hour voiceover session because it's to protect your voice. You don't want to go longer than that, especially if you're doing like Gimli. That was shouting like this for 4 hours. You can imagine what that does to your voice. It's just, I couldn't talk for 3 days after that.
Sure. I want to know, Chris Redfield has a low voice in the game. How did you accomplish that being a tenor?
I am a tenor, and I'm what they call an Irish tenor. So my tenor voice is very high and very soft. I used to be a roving lad, a roving and wandering life I had. That's kind of my singing voice. But if you get up, here's the microphone right here, by the way. I don't know. If you get up real close on the microphone, you can get that voice. You can almost sound like, I have a particular set of skills. I will find you, and I will kill you. You can get that voice if you get right up on the microphone and you drop your voice down. Even as a tenor, you can pretend to have a deep voice. But there's another part to that too. When I got into voiceover, I started doing voice exercises. Because your voice is a muscle. It's 2 muscles that vibrate together. You got these. I don't know if I can actually show you.
Yeah.
They're vibrating, so the 2 muscles are vibrating together. You can change your voice just by working those muscles. So if I wanted my voice to be deeper on a regular basis, you can do exercises that will drop your register down just by working those muscles. You know, it's a muscle. It's a muscle just like the muscle in your arm. You can make them stronger. You can change the shape of them, and you can really alter your voice that way. So when I was heavily doing voiceover, I would do scales. You sing scales. And you keep going down and down and down, and eventually you will develop a deep voice.
Yeah.
Same thing with high. You can develop the high end of your voice just by singing scales. You have to do that on a daily basis. So anybody out there who's trying to get into voiceover, my recommendation to you is to start doing voice exercises. And there's a ton of them online. You can just look online and look up voice lessons, and you can find people who will teach you how to do that. But if you do that with those muscles on a daily basis, your vocal range will expand exponentially. And I say anybody can do voiceover. It's just a matter of training. The hardest part about doing voiceover is, I talked before about honesty in acting. How do you find that truth, and how do you project it? How do you show that honesty to your audience? Well, imagine, as an actor, you get to use facial, you get to use, your body, all of these visual cues that you're giving to an audience to portray that character. Well, as a voiceover actor, you don't have this. You don't have physicality. All you have is your voice.
Yeah.
So what do you do to show a range of emotion with just your voice? Well, you do it with volume. You do it with texture. You can make your voice crunchy. You can make your voice clean. Those are all of the tricks then that become your tools as a voiceover actor.
Okay.
The hard part about all that is still getting to that place of honesty, because you want your voiceover to have as honest an effect on your audience as you do the physicality. So that becomes a matter of being able to listen to yourself. First of all, you have to be able to hear what you're doing. You have to control your breath. You have to control your volume. Those then become all the tools that you use to show the character, because you can't rely on the physicality.
Right.
Because it's a whole different palette of tools that you have access to, and over time you discover what works for you and what doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. The great thing about voiceover, though, is that because you don't have the physical, I don't look like a 350-pound, 7-foot-tall person, so I would never, in the real world, I would never get that part because I don't look right. But in voiceover, it doesn't matter what you look like. You can do the voice of an octopus. You can do the voice of a tiger. You can do the voice of a paper napkin. If you know what I'm saying, you can do anything because it doesn't matter what you look like.
Exactly.
So your options become much wider.
So
I'm talking too much, aren't I?
It's great. So you get the part when you were trying to make like a ADR, right? Kind of like replacement voice for the original Chris Redfield.
Right.
So, but then I heard that the people from Capcom really liked your voice, and you were like free to do your own.
At a certain point, yeah, I was doing the voice, trying to make it sound like the original actor, and they said, we like what you're doing naturally, so don't try to sound like that original actor anymore. Just give us yourself. Give us, what you would do with this character, and that was very freeing. That really kind of opened up some possibilities. The truth that I was trying to stay with for Chris Redfield was that he was a real guy. I didn't want him to be a superhero, because I feel that following a superhero through a story is boring, because they're super. They can do anything.
Yeah.
I want Chris Redfield to be vulnerable and in danger. I want him to feel that danger when he's walking through that mansion. I don't want him to feel like he can just punch a boulder, if you understand what I'm talking about, you know. Because you, as the audience, you are that character. Chris Redfield is you.
Yeah.
So in a horror genre game, as the player, you want to feel that fear, right?
Yes.
If you're a superhero, you don't feel fear.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be vulnerable. You need to know that at any moment you can be attacked and die, or get hurt, or ripped apart, or whatever. So,
you know, and that's why you're my favorite Chris Redfield of all, because you really you give that. I mean, to all the players who play this great game, that impression that he's a real man. I mean, and it's totally different from, I don't know, from the Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 6 or 5. It's kind of like more heroic Chris Redfield, and
right.
You know, it's like you said, he's just a human being, really very good trained in tactics and stuff, but he's not a superhero. Hero.
And the thing is, can you imagine, what if it was you? If you were put into the Spencer Mansion?
Yeah.
That would be absolutely horrifying. I mean, to have these horrible zombies, you know, with tentacle, I mean, just that idea, the whole idea of that is so horrifying to me that any normal human being, even someone with training, would still be terrified to go into that situation.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. So I want the audience to feel that too. I don't want them to feel safe. That defeats the whole purpose of the horror genre.
Yeah.
You know? We want to be scared. We want to feel that. It makes you feel alive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's true. Especially when the part of when you walk through that hall and the dogs jump through the windows. You know?
That's the best.
You play that game, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that moment, I think I probably peed my pants. Those dogs jump through that window. I mean, holy crap. That's
scary.
Yeah, very scary. And you know, another thing to remember is a lot of people don't think about this. That was 25 years ago.
Yeah. I
mean, look at me now. I was 25 years younger when I did that.
Yeah. Amazing.
I'm a very different person now from when I...
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot less hair. My hair has fallen out. I'm Chris Redfield with a bald patch.
The show must go on. It's not like we're out of this yet.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
No.
Chris!
But you know, I wanna know which was one of the hardest scenes to make in Resident Evil. You didn't make any mocap, right? It was just voiceover.
Just voiceover, right? Yeah, no, there was no mocap on the first game.
Okay.
For me, because a lot of the animations were already completed. By the time they asked me to do the voiceover, a lot of the game was already done. So they didn't, I didn't do mocap. I think one of the big challenges on that game, doing the voiceover, was that I had to match it to video. So they would show a video of that portion of the game, like Plant 42.
Yeah.
When that big plant is grabbing Chris Redfield and throwing him around, I had to redo the voiceover to match the Chris flying around the room, so, you know, all those impacts, what they call impacts, punches, hits. When the plant is throwing him around the room, you have to make all those sounds, and it has to match the video.
Yeah.
You have to watch the video, and you have to, when the plant is throwing Chris across the room, you have to, you know, you have to match it up. Mm-hmm. That's very challenging.
I heard that you also make the voice of another star member, right?
Richard Aiken.
Richard, yeah, right.
Poor Richard. Poor little Richard is
was bitten by a poisonous snake.
Bitten by a snake, and that part was kind of an afterthought. After I finished doing Chris Redfield, they said, "Oh, by the way, we have this one more character that just a couple of lines. Would you mind? Can you make your voice sound a little different from Chris?" So I just kind of pitched him up a little bit and made him like this. So I say that Richard is basically Chris Redfield with a hernia.
You.
Chris Redfield, Alpha Team. We're here to rescue you. Richard, what the hell happened to you? Chris, this place. Get your team out of here. Demons everywhere.
Don't talk. He seems to have been bitten by a poisonous snake, but the size of the bite mark is huge.
It's not just any ordinary snake. Take my word for it.
He needs serum. I left it in another room.
I'll go get it.
Please hurry.
Hold on. I'll be back.
Do you met the other cast members like Jill?
I have now. Because of the podcast.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't meet any of the other actors. Everybody did their lines separately. Mm-hmm. You know, and then we just never, for years after that, we never really considered it a big deal. Mm-hmm. It's only now that all of the games have come out, and the Resident Evil community is so big now. Also with the movies and with the TV shows now, there's so much more Resident Evil material that didn't exist when we first did the game. So it really wasn't. We didn't know it was going to be a big deal.
Okay.
That was kind of the. We just went in and did what we did. Mm-hmm. But now we've all met. And there are some podcasts. On the Crimson Head Elder podcast, we've done some interviews with the other characters, and we're all sort of sitting there talking and whatnot. What we're trying to get together, what we would like to do, is have all of the actors from all of the Resident Evil stuff do a big convention. Where we all get together. I think that would be maybe like at Comic-Con. I don't know if in Argentina do they have a big comic convention?
Yeah, we have conventions here, but not like Comic-Con, obviously, because it's amazing. Right. But it would be great if we can make like a convention, a Resident Evil convention here in Argentina. Would be. Well, actually, this is the first time ever in the history of this country. And in the history of Latin America that we are making this interview for the Spanish people.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
Really? I'm very honored.
Yes. And actually, I was the first to interview Nick Apostolides, Nicole Tompkins. So
Wow.
I am the first one. And obviously, I was interviewing another actor called David Bateson, which is the voice of Hitman.
Right, sure, yeah.
So it's the first time ever.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm extremely honored, and thank you, Pablo, for having me on your show.
The honor is absolutely mine, because this is one of my favorite video games of all time. I mean, I play them all. I've been playing Resident Evil since 1998. So.
Me too. I've just finished 8.
Wow.
It's fantastic. I have to replay it now.
Awesome.
I have to replay it with the better weapons.
Right.
You should send me your copy of my game so I can autograph it for you.
Wow, that would be tremendous.
I would.
I'm gonna do that for sure.
Okay.
So we're getting very close to the end of this interview.
Okay.
So I want to ask you about, after Resident Evil was released to the market, and the huge impact that this video game made through the world. Do you think that this game have changed your life in some way?
I think it has, yeah. It's not often that you think about actors as a group, and we really only know a small percentage of actors, because most actors never make it to that high level of celebrity, and myself included. I mean, I've never really done a lead role in a movie or a TV show. It's always been a sort of small stuff. And the way that this has changed my life is that it's made me feel like closer to that kind of celebrity. This is a really difficult subject because it's very psychological. It's you as an actor, especially if you live in Hollywood, and you're competing for parts, and there's a sort of a level of gosh, I don't even know how to say this. Something that's kind of a trap for actors is to get into the competition with other actors. You're always going, oh, that person's so much bigger, that person's done this, that person's done this, I've never done that. And that's a bad thing. You should never compare yourself to other actors. Everybody's on their own. It's a very unique, very personal journey. And other people's success or failure has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
That being said, it feels good to have a little bit of success.
Yes.
And that's what this Resident Evil thing has given to me, is a little bit of feeling like people appreciate what I did, what I tried to do. And I didn't get that feeling until now. I didn't have that feeling back then, because it was such a small thing, and I just kind of wrote it off. I did it, kind of forgot about it. But now that people are calling and saying, hey, we'd like to talk to you about what you did on Resident Evil, it feels good. It makes you feel like what you did was appreciated, like you did good work. It makes me feel like I did good work at some point in my life, and people liked it, and people appreciate it and want to talk about it.
Yeah.
One thing, obviously, I talk without stopping. One thing I love to do is talk about my passions, which are acting and performing and writing and telling stories, and this gives me a little bit of an opportunity to do that. So that's how it's changed my life. It's given me a platform to talk about the things that I love, which are performing and telling stories, and I have people like you to thank for that. Without Paul Freshwater asking me to do the Crimson Head Elder podcast, nobody would know who I am. So that's why I keep saying thank you over and over again. for giving me that validation. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, true. So, Joe, it has been a tremendous honor for me making this interview, and
Thank you very much.
I can't believe it because, you know, I've been playing this game for a long time, and
25 years.
yeah, a long time, and you know, I'm very grateful that I can that I can talk to you. You know, Joe, thank you so much for everything. It has been a great honor and a privilege to do this interview with you, and we're gonna keep in touch. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you know, I am serious when I say I'd love to come to Argentina sometime. I'm not. How are things? I mean, this is off the record as well.
Yeah.
How are Americans in Argentina right now? Is it okay to travel? Is it safe? Do Argentinians like Americans or do they hate Americans? You never know these days. You go, you travel to other countries and people are like, "You fucking Americans," you know.
No, we love you guys here. I mean.
Oh, okay.
Especially me because I live in the United States and
right, yeah.
I did a lot of music there, and you know, I think it's my second home. You know.
Oh, that's great.
I really love everything about the culture, and it's a part of me, you know. Also, so you're more than welcome to come here. You know.
That makes me happy. That makes me happy.
Okay.
All right, my friend. Anything that you just let me know. You know, I can send you my mailing address, so you can send me your game, and I can sign it for you and get it back to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and if you need anything else, if you need some ADR for any of things, let me know. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, take care. We'll see you. We'll keep in touch. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.